Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted material without authorization of the copyright holder. This infringement of copyright is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody. I apologize for not putting up a Satanic Illuminati news yesterday. I tried 3 times. I couldn't get through it. I guess I was just not in the right place mentally to do it yesterday. See if I can get through it today. We are again at a network news feed. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System service, whatever. We're starting at the bottom of the feed today. I guess you could say we're gonna. Never mind. Pulling you into the Jezebel spirit, by the way. Don't click on these clickbaits. Of course, now that the hurricane's over, the job of the news networks is to make everything seem on course. No one, of course, could possibly question the motives of the weather. What we're dealing with here, of course, is an act of God, they would like you to believe. And they will spend a lot of ink and electricity pointing out how wonderful everyone reacted to the horrible situation. Where is it? You'll see more of it. Just, it's all over now. There's people taking care of the victims. You don't need to worry about it. All you need to do is feel properly bad for these folks, and you can go on about your lives. Forget about the fact that our government's now using weather as a weapon against its own people. Forget about the fact that you are being conditioned to accept the big one when it happens. Forget about the fact that you have been pre-programmed for years to accept the destruction of New York City or any other large urban area by natural disaster. Every other fucking movie has been about it since 19 whatever. Now you need to wake up and listen up and pay attention. They were letting you know what they're doing. That's part of their magic. They love to do that. And when a hurricane pops up out of nowhere and proceeds to bash one coastline over and over again and act in a totally unnatural manner, then if you're a truther, you have to stand up and say the truth. This hurricane is behaving in a completely unnatural way. Make of that what you will. The Princess Diana remembrances are heavy this week, of course. Now, if you don't know the esoteric planning that went on to murder this woman in exactly the right place at exactly the right time in exactly the right way, you have some homework to do. If you still think this woman was the victim of a horrible paparazzi in a terrible tragic car accident, you haven't looked into it at all. Stop pretending like you know what you're talking about, because you don't. Why don't you just do a simple Google search for any video relating to the death of Diana and Diana the goddess in Paris. Just any. You should just Google it and you'll see. And you will see the number of details of the murder of this woman that line up with esoteric, religious, and mythological just look it up. Funny how the mainstream media wants you to believe how dangerous Mexico is. I mean, how often do you hear about the drug gangs and the horrible violence and the MS-13 or whatever that name of that fucking gang is? They really, really want you to believe how dangerous they are, yet, heaven forbid we build a wall to keep them out. Don't you see they're playing both sides of this? They're playing you. They're making you afraid and then making you feel bad if you want to protect yourself and your family. My God, they're playing you like a xylophone, left hand on the fear bone and right hand on the politically correct bone, and you don't know what fucking way to turn. You know why? Because you're listening and you're letting yourself be played. He may be Satanic Illuminati elite, but I like Shelley Berman. He's funny. I'm going to say this one more time, even though it's the craziest thing I ever say, of course. Climate change is Planet X. Planet X is climate change. Now, the climate change propaganda started back in the early 50s and late 60s, and it was connected to the solar maximum. If you look at a chart of solar activity over the last 1,000 years, and things like that do exist, then you can see that during the late 60s and early 70s, we were in a warming trend, not because of man-made chemicals, but simply because of the solar cycle. They took advantage of that esoteric knowledge, and remember, esoteric just means ancient and hidden. They took advantage of that to make you believe that, well, whatever they need you to believe in order to control you. Now, they've known for a long, long time Planet X was coming, and they've known for a while, I guess, exactly what the effects would be. Now, do you think it's a coincidence that the effects of the approach of Planet X are drastic and catastrophic climate events, and that those very same things can be used to point and justify the science behind so-called global warming? They are playing the shell game with you. You've got your eye on where you think the red ball is under the cup, and guess what? There ain't no red ball on the table. They don't even have the right cup in front of you. The right cup is knowledge. Knowledge of the ancient secret. Knowledge of the occult wisdom that goes back 4,000 years at the least. And that knowledge is of the sun's binary twin and its long elliptical orbit around and in our solar system. If you think that man is too smart right now to be surprised by something in the skies, then you believe what they tell you. They know it's coming. They know it's coming. You don't. You need to wake up about that, because it's the single most important fact that's being kept from you. More hacking stories. I'm telling you, when the big hack goes down, or the false flag big hack that shuts the banks for a 3-day weekend, they need you to believe it. They need you to believe that that's actually a thing. That someone sitting in their basement, some geek, could actually stop and shut down all the banks for a whole long weekend. When you hear that the banks are going to be closed from this Thursday afternoon or this Friday afternoon to next Monday morning because of some hack, it's a lie. That means that means their AI has told them that the time is right to roll out martial law. They have D-Wave AI computers keeping track of every single detail of our world and using complicated algorithms that were hitherto unimaginable to sort of keep their finger on the pulse of the world. And that finger lets them know when the pulse is racing and when the pulse is slow. Well, when the pulse is just right, they're going to flip the switch. It will be a live drill. The banks will shut. Martial law will come in. And that's just the beginning of the adventure, folks, because about, 60, 90 days in, I imagine all those international soldiers, and they will be majority international soldiers, by the way, with the guns, machine guns in their hands, sitting on top of the tanks, are going to look over their shoulder and see that the entire hierarchical structure of their military and government is gone. Vamoosed, vanished. They're not there anymore. Guess where they are? They are in the underground bunkers, thinking like the dumbasses they are, that they're going to survive this apocalypse and emerge one day the blue-eyed, blonde, Aryan ruling race. Sorry, you're wrong. What do you think those soldiers are going to do? Those young men who have been chosen for primarily their psychopathic tendencies suddenly find that they are the ultimate power in the street? These 22, 23-year-old fuckers with machine guns in their hand, all of a sudden they're in charge of you. Huh. What do you think that's going to look like? Oscar Goldman died? Love Oscar Goldman. How long are they going to get away with saying this blatant lie? White supremacy rise in the U.S.? Bullshit. I'll make the same deal with you I made with you a week ago. Turn off your fucking electronic screens and the white supremacists will vanish, disappear, just by like magic. Why? Because they don't exist. This is the only place they exist. The fucking TV and internet and all the mainstream media that are pushing it down your throat with the force of a jackhammer. Why are they doing it? Because they have to. It's not real. Oh, they'll get plenty of shots of dumb fuckers with stupid-ass t-shirts yelling and screaming at each other. Guess what? They're not real either. They're playing their role. Why do you think all this shit happens in front of a camera? I guarantee you, right outside the frame of this shot, there ain't shit. There ain't nobody. They had to shove them all into one little spot so they can all fit and make it look like a big crowd in front of the camera. I guarantee. Fucking morons. I can't believe you don't see through all this. I assume those are dead bodies from a prison riot. One way to get rid of them. Didn't this fucker just have a tumor in his head? Huh? Thought he did. Why is he still alive? Boy, I've been trying to stay out of dark places doing these videos because it's not doing my mental health any good, I'll tell you that right now. You see a story like this, you have to wonder why. So let me tell you right now, and if you don't believe me, look it up. This story is so commonplace that it's sickening. Thousands of children go missing in our country, the United States of America, every year. They're never found, they're never reported on, they're barely missed. And many of them go missing from social services, child protective services. Taken away from their rightful families for no good reason. And then funnel them into the system that feeds the Satanic Illuminati elite. Sorry, they need children. I know it sounds crazy. Hey, I'm not saying it's not fucking crazy. I think these people are all not only morons, but also insane. But there you go. Just do a little bit of looking behind the farce of Pizzagate, and you will see the yawning maw of a child predator cavern. All these fuckers. George Bush Sr. and Jr., Bill Clinton, Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter, yeah, even good old Jimmy, Obama, Trump, every one of these fuckers, if they got a little bit of money and power in their hand and you see them on the television, guess what they are? Satanic pedophiles. You don't like it? I don't either. I'm not going to hide my eyes away from the truth when it's so fucking blatant. Fuck all you Satanists, fuck all you pedophiles, and fuck all you people who deny them.